You opened the electric bill this month and felt that familiar dread. Maybe you told yourself you would try to use less this month, turn things off more, be more careful. And then the next bill came in and it was nearly the same number. Here's what nobody has told you. Your electric bill is not high because you are careless or because you use too much electricity. It is high because there are between 10 and 17 specific, fixable problems happening inside your home right now that your utility company has never explained to you, has never sent you a guide to correct, and in several cases is actively counting on you never finding out about. The average American household overpays between $600 and $900 per year on electricity, for reasons that are entirely preventable and in most cases free to fix. The utility industry in this country generated over $430 billion in revenue last year. Every dollar of electricity you waste is a dollar of revenue they collect. You opened the electric bill this month and felt that familiar dread. Maybe you told yourself you would try to use less this month, turn things off more, be more careful. And then the next bill came in and it was nearly the same number. Here's what nobody has told you. Your electric bill is not high because you are careless or because you use too much electricity. It is high because there are between 10 and 17 specific, fixable problems happening inside your home right now that your utility company has never explained to you, has never sent you a guide to correct, and in several cases is actively counting on you never finding out about. The average American household overpays between $600 and $900 per year on electricity, for reasons that are entirely preventable and in most cases free to fix. The utility industry in this country generated over $430 billion in revenue last year. Every dollar of electricity you waste is a dollar of revenue they collect. They have no incentive to publish this list. Today we are counting down 17 reasons your electric bill is higher than it should be, and exactly what to do about each one. Number 1 is a service your utility company is legally required to offer you for free, that most customers have never heard of and almost nobody requests. Let's get into it. Number 17. Your refrigerator is set colder than it needs to be. Most people set their refrigerator temperature and never think about it again. The default factory setting on many refrigerator models is between 34 and 37 degrees Fahrenheit. That is colder than necessary for safe food storage. The FDA recommends 40 degrees Fahrenheit for the refrigerator and 0 degrees for the freezer, and those temperatures keep food perfectly safe while reducing the energy your compressor needs to maintain the interior temperature. Every degree colder than necessary increases refrigerator energy consumption by approximately 3 to 5%. A refrigerator running 2 to 4 degrees colder than it needs to is using 6 to 20% more electricity than required, continuously, every hour of every day. Check your current temperature settings using an inexpensive thermometer placed inside for 20 minutes. Adjust to 37 to 40 degrees for the fresh food compartment and 0 to 5 degrees for the freezer. This one change costs nothing and produces an immediate and permanent reduction in one of the largest single electricity consumers in your home. Number 16. You are washing laundry in hot or warm water. Approximately 90% of the energy consumed by a washing machine goes to heating the water. The mechanical action of the drum uses almost no electricity by comparison. Modern laundry detergents, including every major brand sold in the United States today, are specifically formulated to work in cold water. The enzymes that break down stains and the surfactants that lift dirt from fabric function at cold water temperatures as effectively as they do at warm or hot. Hot water washing is a holdover from an era when detergent chemistry required heat to activate. That era ended decades ago, and the detergent formulas changed, but the household habit did not. Switching every regular load to cold water costs nothing, does not affect cleaning results on everyday laundry, and reduces your washing machine's energy use by 75 to 90% per cycle. For a household doing 5 loads per week, this single change saves $60 to $120 per year on the electricity used to heat water that did not need to be heated. Number 15. Your dryer is working significantly harder than it should be. There are 3 dryer inefficiencies that most households are running simultaneously without knowing it. The first is a partially clogged lint trap. Most people clean it before every load, which is correct, but the screen itself accumulates a thin, invisible film of dryer sheet residue over time that restricts airflow even when no visible lint is present. Wash your lint screen with soap and water once a month and let it dry before replacing it. The second is the dryer vent hose. A kinked, partially blocked, or excessively long vent hose forces the dryer to work against restricted airflow, extending drying time by 20 to 30% and consuming proportionally more electricity per cycle. Check and clear your dryer vent annually. The third is overdrying. Most dryers have a timed dry setting that runs the full cycle regardless of whether the clothes are done. The sensored dry or automatic dry setting stops the cycle when moisture is detected at the target level. Switching from timed to sensored dry reduces the average cycle length and eliminates the energy wasted drying clothes that are already dry. Number 14. Your dishwasher's heated dry setting is adding $40 to $80 to your annual bill. Dishwashers use two significant amounts of electricity: the water heating during the wash cycle and the heating element during the drying cycle. The drying cycle uses a resistance heating element that consumes substantial electricity to evaporate water from dishes and the interior. Turn the heated dry setting off and open the door slightly at the end of the wash cycle to allow the dishes to air dry. Your dishes will be dry within 20 to 30 minutes, using only the residual heat from the wash cycle and ambient airflow. The energy saving on the drying cycle alone is 15 to 50% of the dishwasher's total electricity consumption per load, depending on the model. For a household running the dishwasher daily, eliminating heated dry saves $40 to $80 per year for a change that requires pressing one button differently at the start of every cycle. Number 13. Your refrigerator's condenser coils are dirty and it is costing you significantly. This is one of the most overlooked maintenance tasks in a home because the coils are hidden, either on the back of the refrigerator or underneath it behind a kick plate. Condenser coils release the heat removed from the refrigerator interior. When they are coated in dust and pet hair, which accumulates steadily over months of normal household operation, their ability to release heat is compromised. The compressor compensates by running longer and harder to achieve the same cooling effect. A refrigerator with significantly dirty condenser coils uses 15 to 30% more electricity than the same appliance with clean coils. Pull your refrigerator away from the wall or remove the kick plate at the bottom. Vacuum the coils with a brush attachment and replace everything. This takes 10 minutes and should be done once or twice per year. If your refrigerator is running more than it used to, or the motor sounds louder than it once did, dirty coils are the most common cause. Number 12. Your HVAC filter is dirtier than it should be, and it is making your heating and cooling system work against itself. The air filter in your furnace and air conditioning system serves two purposes. It protects the mechanical components from dust and debris, and it maintains airflow through the system. When the filter is dirty, airflow is restricted. A restricted HVAC system has to run longer to move the same amount of conditioned air through your home, consuming more electricity per heating or cooling cycle. The Department of Energy estimates that a dirty air filter increases HVAC energy consumption by 5 to 15%. HVAC systems account for 40 to 50% of a typical home's total electricity use. 5 to 15% of 40 to 50% of your entire bill is a significant number. Most manufacturers recommend replacing the filter every 1 to 3 months, depending on the filter type and household conditions. Most households replace it once a year, or when they happen to think about it. Set a reminder on your phone for every 60 days, and the problem is permanently solved. Number 11. Your ceiling fans are spinning in the wrong direction for the current season. Every ceiling fan has a small switch on the motor housing that changes the direction the blades spin. In the counterclockwise direction, a ceiling fan pushes air downward and creates a wind chill effect that makes a room feel 4 to 6 degrees cooler without changing the actual temperature. In the clockwise direction, at low speed, the fan pulls cool air upward and pushes the warm air that naturally accumulates near the ceiling down along the walls and back into the living space. In summer, run fans counterclockwise, and you can raise your thermostat setting by 4 degrees without a noticeable change in comfort, which reduces air conditioning energy use by 4 to 8%. In winter, run fans clockwise at low speed, and the recirculated warm air near the ceiling reduces how hard your heating system works to maintain the target temperature. The switch is a small toggle on the motor body accessible from a step stool. Most households have their fans on one setting year-round, which means they are getting the benefit in one season and working against themselves in the other. Number 10. Your water heater is set to a temperature it does not need to reach. The factory default setting on most residential water heaters in the United States is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason for this setting is historical. Older plumbing systems and some commercial applications require higher temperatures to prevent bacterial growth in the tank. For a standard residential water heater with normal household use, 120 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature recommended by the Department of Energy, the American Red Cross, and most major plumbing associations. It is hot enough for effective cleaning, bathing, and dishwashing, and it eliminates the scald risk that 140-degree water creates for young children and elderly household members. Reducing your water heater from 140 to 120 degrees saves 4 to 22% of your water heater's energy consumption, which for a standard electric water heater translates to $36 to $61 per year in electricity costs, for a change that takes 30 seconds to make by turning a single dial on the front or side of the tank. Number 9. Your home is leaking conditioned air through gaps you have never seen. The average American home loses 20 to 30% of its heating and cooling energy through air leaks. Gaps around window frames, door frames, where walls meet floors, around electrical outlets on exterior walls, around recessed lighting fixtures, and where pipes and wires enter the house. This is conditioned air your heating or cooling system work to bring to the target temperature, escaping directly to the outside and being replaced by outside air your system has to condition again. The most common and highest impact areas to seal are the threshold gap under exterior doors, the frame gap around windows where caulk has dried and cracked, and electrical outlets on exterior walls, which have an open cavity behind them that connects directly to the wall cavity and outside air. Weather stripping for a door costs $8 to $20 and takes 15 minutes to install. A tube of window caulk costs $4. Outlet insulation pads that fit behind the outlet cover cost $4 for a package of 12. The combined investment of under $50 in materials applied to a drafty home consistently reduces heating and cooling costs by $150 to $400 per year. We are past the halfway point on this list, and we have already identified $500 to $800 in annual savings available through changes that cost nothing or under $50 to implement. But the second half of this list is where things shift from maintenance and habit changes to information that the utility industry and the government have both failed to put in front of you. We are talking about billing structures your utility company offers but never advertises, programs that send qualified households free insulation and air sealing at zero cost, and a service your utility company is required by law to provide that almost nobody has ever requested. Number 1 on this list has the largest single impact of anything we cover today, and it is available to you right now with one phone call. Stay with me. And here is something about electricity that most people have never thought about. When you turn off a device, most of it does not actually turn off. The concept of standby power, also called phantom load or vampire power, refers to the electricity consumed by devices while they are in standby mode, sleeping, or even switched off but still plugged in. In the 1990s, Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory researchers began measuring standby power for the first time and discovered that the average American household had between 20 and 40 devices drawing continuous power with no functional use. A television in standby mode draws 1 to 3 watts continuously. A cable box draws 15 to 20 watts, nearly as much as when it is on. A desktop computer in sleep mode draws 2 to 6 watts. A phone charger plugged into the wall with no phone attached draws 0.1 to 0.5 watts. These numbers sound small individually. Multiply them across 40 devices running 8,760 hours per year, and the Lawrence Berkeley Lab calculation puts the average household standby power cost at $100 to $200 per year for electricity that produces nothing. The fix is smart power strips that cut power completely to devices in a cluster when the primary device is off, and the habit of unplugging chargers and device cables that are not in use. Number 8, your high-energy appliances are running at the most expensive time of day. Most utility customers in the United States are on a flat rate billing structure. They pay the same price per kilowatt hour regardless of when they use electricity during the day. But time of use rate plans, which price electricity higher during peak demand hours and lower during off peak hours, are available from most utility companies and are typically not advertised to existing customers because they reduce revenue from households that shift usage accordingly. Peak hours are typically 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays, when industrial and commercial demand combines with residential demand after work hours. Off-peak hours are typically late night and early morning. On a time of use plan, running your dishwasher at 10 p.m. instead of 7 p.m., running the washing machine and dryer before 3 p.m. or after 9 p.m., and charging electric vehicles overnight rather than after dinner can reduce the electricity cost of those specific loads by 30 to 50%. Call your utility company and ask specifically whether time of use rate plans are available in your area and what the peak and off-peak rate differential is. Most representatives will not volunteer this information. The question has to come from you. Number 7, you are cooling and heating your windows instead of insulating them. Windows are the single largest source of heat gain in summer and heat loss in winter in most American homes. Standard window glass has almost no insulating value. On a hot summer day, a south or west-facing window emits solar radiation that heats your interior and forces your air conditioning to compensate continuously. Thermal blackout curtains or cellular shades create an insulating air barrier between the window surface and the room interior. Closing them on south and west-facing windows during peak sun hours in summer reduces solar heat gain by 33 to 77%, depending on the curtain type, according to the Department of Energy. In winter, opening them during daylight hours to emit solar heat and closing them at sundown to trap the warmth reduces heating demand. A set of thermal curtains costs $20 to $40 per window. The annual heating and cooling savings for a home with multiple south or west-facing windows consistently exceeds the cost of the curtains within the first season. Number 6, your utility company is holding your money through budget billing and you do not know it. Budget billing is a program most utility companies offer that averages your annual electricity cost into 12 equal monthly payments, so your bill is the same amount every month instead of higher in summer and winter. On the surface, this sounds like a convenience. In practice, utility companies typically calculate the budget amount based on the previous year's usage with an upward adjustment for rate increases. In most cases, the monthly budget payment is slightly higher than your actual average usage. At the end of the 12-month period, the utility reconciles the account, and if you overpaid, which the majority of budget billing customers do, they apply the credit to next year's account rather than issuing a refund. Your utility company has been holding an interest-free loan of your money for a year. Call and ask for an account reconciliation and a refund of any credit balance rather than a rollover. Then evaluate whether the flat payment convenience is worth the cost of losing access to that money for 12 months. Number 5, landscaping is one of the most overlooked electricity-saving tools available to homeowners. Strategic tree placement around a house reduces cooling costs by blocking direct solar radiation on the roof and south and west walls during summer months. A mature shade tree positioned on the south or west side of a home can reduce summer cooling costs by 15 to 35% by blocking the sun that would otherwise heat the roof and walls directly. The Department of Energy's research on residential landscaping consistently shows that 3 well-placed trees can save a household $100 to $250 per year in cooling costs in warm climates. Deciduous trees, trees that lose their leaves in winter, are specifically valuable because they provide shade in summer and allow solar warming in winter when the leaves have dropped. This is a longer-term investment than the other items on this list, but for homeowners who plan to stay in their property, strategically planted trees reduce electricity costs permanently and increase property value simultaneously. Number 4, millions of eligible Americans have never applied for LIHEAP. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program is a federally funded program that distributes over $4 billion annually to help qualifying households pay their heating and cooling costs. It is administered at the state level, and eligibility varies by state, but the income threshold for most states is set at 150% of the federal poverty level, or 60% of the state median income, whichever is higher. At 60% of state median income, a significant portion of working American households qualify, and most of them have never heard of the program. LIHEAP assistance can be applied to electric bills, natural gas bills, heating oil, and in some states, cooling costs during summer months. The benefit is paid directly to the utility company on the household's behalf. Applications are processed through local community action agencies, and the program has a defined enrollment period that varies by state. To find your local LIHEAP office, search LIHEAP plus your state name. The application takes approximately 30 minutes, and the annual benefit for qualifying households ranges from $200 to $1,000, depending on the state and household income level. Most people who qualify have simply never been told this program exists. Number 3. The Weatherization Assistance Program sends contractors to your home and does the work for free. The Weatherization Assistance Program is a Department of Energy program that provides free energy efficiency improvements to qualifying low-income households through a network of local service providers. The income eligibility is generally set at 200% of the federal poverty guideline, which covers a substantially larger portion of the American population than most people realize. A WAP service visit involves a professional energy audit of your home, followed by the installation of improvements at no cost to the household. These improvements typically include attic insulation, wall insulation, air sealing of the specific leakage points identified in the audit, weather stripping on doors and windows, HVAC tune-up and filter replacement, and in some cases, water heater replacement or HVAC system replacement. The average WAP-treated home sees energy cost reductions of $283 to $400 per year permanently after the service. For households in older homes with inadequate insulation and significant air leakage, the savings are substantially higher. The program serves approximately 35,000 homes per year nationally and has a wait list in many areas, which means applying as soon as possible after determining eligibility is the appropriate action. Search Weatherization Assistance Program plus your state name and apply through your local service provider. Number 2, your utility company has been offering you a free home energy audit that you have never requested. This is the one that most people have the strongest reaction to. In most states, regulated utility companies are required by state Public Utility Commission rules to offer free or heavily subsidized home energy audits to their residential customers. A utility-provided home energy audit involves a trained technician visiting your home, conducting a blower door test that measures the specific air leakage rate of your building envelope, using a thermal camera to identify insulation gaps and air leaks that are invisible to the naked eye, testing the efficiency and combustion safety of your heating equipment, checking duct leakage in your HVAC distribution system, and identifying every specific improvement that would reduce your energy consumption. At the end of the audit, you receive a written report listing every identified problem ranked by payback period, how quickly the savings from fixing each issue exceed the cost of fixing it. For many common improvements, like air sealing and attic insulation, the payback period is 2 to 4 years, after which the savings are permanent. The utility company profits from every kilowatt hour you consume. Offering a free energy audit that reduces your consumption costs them revenue. The program exists because state regulators required it. The utility company satisfies the requirement by making the program available without advertising it. Most customers have been eligible for this service for years and have never been informed. Call the customer service number on your electric bill and ask specifically for a home energy audit appointment. Use the phrase home energy audit. Do not ask if they have programs that can help reduce your bill. That question gets a general answer. Ask specifically for the home energy audit, and the representative will connect you with the scheduling department. All right, before we get to number 1, if this information has been genuinely useful, and this is the kind of content you want to keep seeing, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss one of these. Now, number 1, the complete time of use rate restructuring that can reduce your bill by 20 to 30% permanently without changing how much electricity you use. We covered time of use rates briefly earlier on this list, but the full picture deserves to be number 1 because for most households, it represents the largest single available bill reduction, and almost nobody has made the switch. Here is the complete picture. The standard flat rate most utility customers pay is deliberately priced above the actual cost of producing electricity during off-peak hours, and below the cost of producing it during peak hours. The flat rate is an average that cross-subsidizes peak demand. When you run your appliances during peak hours on a flat rate plan, you are being subsidized by off-peak customers. When you run them during off-peak hours, you are subsidizing peak users. A time of use plan gives you direct access to the actual lower cost of off-peak electricity. The off-peak rate in most utility markets is 30 to 60% lower than the peak rate. A household that shifts dishwasher cycles to after 9 p.m., runs the washing machine and dryer before noon or after 9 p.m., charges electric vehicles between midnight and 6 a.m., and pre-cools the home to 72 degrees before 4 p.m. and lets the temperature rise to 76 during peak hours before cooling again after 9 p.m., can reduce their total electricity bill by 20 to 30% without using any less electricity overall. The shift requires building a new set of habits around appliance timing. For most households, the change is manageable within 2 to 3 weeks. The bill reduction shows up immediately in the first billing cycle after switching. Call your utility company. Ask whether time-of-use rate plans are available in your area. Ask for the rate schedule showing the peak and off-peak prices, and calculate your potential savings based on when you currently run your highest energy appliances. For a household currently paying $180 per month in electricity, a 25% reduction through time-of-use rate optimization saves $540 per year permanently. 17 reasons. Hundreds of dollars. Which one are you going to fix first? And is there something you already did to bring your electric bill down that I did not cover? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and the best tips from viewers end up in the next video. Subscribe to the channel for more of these. And YouTube thinks you will like this video next, so check it out and I will see you in the next episode.